Hey guys, Melanie from This Blessed Journey here, and I am coming to you today with a 2-week update for my Trim Healthy Mama diet plan. I made some notes so that I won't get off topic, and let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, we started this program about 2 weeks ago, and so far I think it's gone pretty well. I will be very honest and say that immediately after starting this, within 3 or 4 days, I got sick, and I have been suffering from a sinus infection for almost 2 weeks, like a week and a half. So that has made it a lot more challenging than I think it normally would have been, and I'm going to talk about why I believe that, but I hopefully am on the upward side of that. I'm hopefully on the mend and getting better and can start focusing a little bit more on this, because when you're sick, which I don't get sick very often, it is so rare. I can guarantee you I have not been sick enough to go see a doctor in at least 5 years. And I had to go see the doctor. I had to get a shot in my hip, and that was lots of fun. But I am starting to feel a little bit better, so I wanted to go ahead and film this for you today. Let me go ahead and get started. I did post basically kind of an intro video that it was 2 weeks ago, and I will link that video in the box below so you can check for that. When I did that video, I let you guys know that my starting weight on Trim Healthy Mama was 160 pounds. Within 3 or 4 days of starting this program, I had lost 3 pounds. I was down to 157 pounds, and I was ecstatic. I was so happy. I was feeling pretty good. And then I got sick, and everything kind of just went wonky. When I weighed myself this morning, I am currently at 158 pounds. So I did lose 3 pounds. I gained 1 of them back, and that's just the way life goes. So what has worked for me, in my opinion, following this plan, is the low carb / no carb really seems to work for my body as far as dropping the pounds. And it wasn't really difficult for me at first to cut out carbs or to very strictly limit carbs in my S meals. I noticed immediately within a couple of days that I had less bloating, and that right there will make you feel thinner when you're not so bloated all the time. I love that part of it. That totally worked for me. I naturally really enjoy eating berries, and you know, the kind of fruit that they advocate eating on this plan are the fruits that I actually really like anyway, and the ones that they say to stay away from are the ones that I don't care for that much. So that was really easy for me. I tend to really enjoy vegetables. I like most lean cuts of meat. I like fish. So all of the things that are good for you when you're eating this, I actually really like. So that's why I chose this plan for me, is because it looked like something that I could do, I would be successful at, and I'm really enjoying it so far. What didn't work for me was, first of all, before I started this journey, I hadn't finished the book. I still have not finished the book, but I've read more of the book now, and so I think that I'll have a better place to go from here. But I hadn't finished the book, and so I really didn't quite understand how to fit this into a family where you have 4 children and a husband that you're also trying to feed. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that, but I said, why wait? I'm just going to start, and therefore there were some things that I didn't quite understand yet that I understand better now. What didn't work for me, probably the 2 biggest things, was, first of all, I had no plan. I had no meal plan. I just went to the store, bought a bunch of foods that I knew were acceptable for this eating style, and said I'll figure it out as I go. I'm not a figure it out as I go kind of person. I need a plan. That did not work for me. I will not be doing that in the future. So the biggest challenges that I have seen while trying to follow this eating style: coffee. I love coffee. I love having my 2 cups of coffee in the morning Sometimes I have a cup of coffee in the afternoon, but not most days. But I will not lie, I use the Coffee Mate creamer in my coffee, fat-free, French vanilla, all the way. Yes, thank you very much. On this plan, I can't have that. That's not an approved thing to use in your coffee on this plan. That was a challenge for me. So I'm working on that. I don't really know where that's going to lead. I'm working on it, but that is a challenge. I tried the Good Girl Moonshine. Yuck. I did not like it. I don't know why I didn't like it, but it just did not taste good to me. My kids, on the other hand, loved it and asked me if I would make more and more and more of it. So I'm going to work with a couple of different recipes that I've found on Pinterest for different variations of Good Girl Moonshine and see if I can come up with something. To be honest with you, if I end up not including that in my life, okay, I don't really care that much. A big challenge, like I said, was family meals, preparing food for my family. What can I make that will satisfy everyone's nutritional needs and that everyone will enjoy? That is a big challenge with this program. You know, no one wants to have your kids and your husband sit down and eat the things, you know, a regular meal that you might make, you know, protein, vegetables, carbs, and then you get to sit down, as they put it in the book, which is kind of funny, and open up your little, you know, lean cuisine or healthy choice meal and not get to eat the same things as your family. That is not where I wanted to go. I didn't do that whenever I was on this plan, but I really struggled to figure out what I could make that I could enjoy and my family could enjoy. And that's the part that if I had just read about another chapter in the book before I started this, it would have answered that for me. Because now I've read that, I have a lot better idea of how to make that work. And so that moving forward will be hopefully a lot easier, but that definitely was a challenge for me. There are no, what I would consider easy dinners, you know, that you can just, oh, I don't feel like cooking, so let me go get some hamburger helper. Let me get a box of macaroni and cheese. There's nothing like that in my house. And so there were so many nights that I was like, what am I going to make for dinner? Because I feel wretched with being sick. I don't know what to cook. We went to Sonic in the past 2 weeks. We had Subway one night. There were nights when we did takeout simply because I didn't have a plan and I didn't feel good. And I'm not good at last minute meal preparation, especially if I don't feel good. A big challenge for me with this was because I was sick, had no energy, just felt awful, I didn't do any food prep. And meaning I didn't like pre-make some brown rice to have for my kids or some quinoa or anything like that I could just say, oh, well, that part of the dinner's done. Let's make a lean, you know, a good protein and some vegetables and call it a day. I didn't have anything prepped, so everything was a basic ingredient that had to be made from scratch. And when you don't feel good, that's not happening. Another challenge for me was breakfast. Breakfast is a challenge for me regardless. You give me a cup of coffee and I'm good to go. That's breakfast. But that's not the healthiest thing. It's not what's advocated in this book, and that was definitely a challenge for me. Again, when I don't feel well in the morning, I don't want to go in and cook up, you know, eggs or start some steel-cut oats from scratch. Now, one day I did make a batch of steel-cut oats. I let it cook. I put some in the refrigerator, and then for like 3 or 4 days, I had that as a breakfast option, and that made it tremendously easier. But breakfast is a struggle for me. So what were some of the victories that I experienced over the past couple of weeks? First of all, no soda. I completely stopped drinking soda. I can't even remember having soda at all in the past couple of weeks, which means that my water intake has gone up, and that's always a good thing. That is a huge victory for me, because I basically, if I wasn't drinking coffee, there's a good chance I was drinking a diet soda, and that's not good. So no sodas. I just, every time I go to the store and I pass by my favorite soda in that aisle, I'm tempted, but I just say, if I don't buy it, it won't be at home and I won't drink it. If it's at home, I'm going to end up drinking it at some point when I've had a bad day or, you know, whatever. I have made progress on the coffee. I'm still working on it. They recommend having heavy cream in your coffee or fat-free half and half, depending on what kind of breakfast you're going to have, an S or an E. To me, neither of those are as good as my coffee creamer. You know, I'm not going to lie, but I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to adapt to that lifestyle and get my taste buds used to it. And I have made progress. This morning, I had my regular coffee. I had fat-free half and half in it, and I added just a tiny little bit of pure vanilla extract to give it a little bit extra flavor, along with my stevia. No, it didn't taste exactly like what I'm used to in the past, but I drank it and it was fine. Now, part of that is because I still don't completely have the ability to taste everything that I'm eating and drinking because of my sinus issues. Excuse me. But I'm working on it. I've made progress, but I'm not there yet. But to me, that's still considered a victory. A huge victory, in my opinion, is that there is less processed food in my house right now. As I said, I don't have any boxes of Hamburger Helper or pasta salad or macaroni and cheese or anything like that. And that's a victory to me. I want to work on getting less processed food in my house, more whole foods, more things that are made from scratch with real ingredients, and that is just going to take prep. It's going to take, me spending some time to have those things ready to go. So, those are some victories that I have experienced. Now, the plan going forward for the next 2 weeks, and I'm only planning for the next 2 weeks because I am going to do another update video and see what is working and what's not. I do now know and understand that you can have rice or pasta or potatoes at your evening meals as long as they are healthier options and they're for your children. I was really struggling with, okay, I'm just going to feed my kids chicken breast and vegetables for dinner, and that didn't seem like enough, and it's because it's not. It's not enough for your growing kids. They need things that our bodies do not. They can process things that our bodies cannot. So I am going to be including some more whole grain, or whole wheat pasta, 100% whole wheat pasta. I've got some sprouted brown rice that I'm excited to give a try. Potatoes. My kids can have potatoes, whereas I really shouldn't. So those things I'm very excited to be able to put back into our meal plan. And as long as I have meat and vegetables, or if it's an e-meal, meat and vegetables and a small amount of grains that are approved for me, I'll be fine. So with some prep, I think that that'll work out really well. The plan going forward is to prep food. I need to cook a batch of brown rice. I need to cook a batch of quinoa. I need to make sure that I have fruits and vegetables that are ready to go. Because probably one of the biggest challenges for me on this was snacks. You're supposed to snack, and that was tough for me because I would be starving and I would go into the kitchen and I wouldn't have anything pre-prepped, and so I would reach for something that is not the best option. Now, I didn't reach for a bag of potato chips or some candy, from Easter just a couple of weeks ago, but I wouldn't make the best choices. I was making medium choices, kind of just mediocre, not great choices, but not the worst. But I really believe that with some time spent prepping some snacks ahead of time, I can make much better choices. Excuse me, I know this is extremely rude, but my mouth is very dry. Okay. I'm going to continue working on breakfast. I need to get better about eating breakfast every morning, and there are some mornings that I wake up ravenous. I'm so hungry that my stomach is literally growling. I can be so hungry in the morning that I feel nauseous, and yet what do? I reach for a cup of coffee because some mornings the thought of eating it makes me nauseous. I don't know why, but my body doesn't want food first thing in the morning, even though I'm starving. It doesn't make sense. I'm working on it. in order to help me with the snack problem, I'm going to type out and post a list of approved snacks that I can post in my kitchen. And I think that will really help. If I go and I say, okay, I need a snack, I don't know what to have. Well, you can have an apple and a string cheese. You can have some cottage cheese with some cantaloupe in it. You know, something like that. If I don't have to think about it, if I can just look at a list and say, yes, I have that and that, done. Then that will be so much easier than going and looking in the pantry or looking in the refrigerator and saying, what in the world can I eat that is approved? If the mental work is done ahead of time, I think that it will be a lot easier for me to manage snacks. I am going to work on having a written meal plan, or at the very least, some ideas, so that I know, you know, I don't know for sure if I'm going to be able to follow Monday we have this, Tuesday we have this, Wednesday we have this, because right now we're in the middle of soccer season. And so 3 or 4 nights a week, I'm not even here during the typical dinner hours. I am at soccer practice with kids. Immediately after soccer practice is over, here in the next week or so, we're going to be starting soccer games. I have 3 kids in soccer, which means I'm going to be spending a lot of time at soccer games. So I don't know for sure that I can have a set in stone meal plan for my family at this point, but I at least want to have some meal ideas. And I want to make sure that I have all of the ingredients prepped and ready so that I can put together a meal in a short amount of time and it won't stress me out. Or my husband can help me out, because normally I prepare every dinner in our home. But when I was sick there were a couple of nights this past week and a half to 2 weeks that I told him I can't do dinner. I feel awful. And so he had to prepare dinner. And my husband can cook, but my husband also works all day. And so I take on the responsibility of cooking the meals for our family. So it's not something that he does all the time. He was more than willing to jump in and take over that on the nights when I wasn't feeling well. But it's something that I really feel like primarily is my responsibility. So I want to make sure that I'm doing what I can to make that as easy as possible for whoever has to make a meal. And finally, I do want to introduce a workout plan into my daily schedule. I don't know for sure how I'm going to do this. I do have a gym membership, but my gym does not offer childcare. So it's tough, like impossible almost, for me to get to the gym. And the whole time I'm at the gym, I'm worried about my kids. Are they okay? So I need to figure out a way to implement working out into my schedule. I just don't really know how that's going to work out just yet. I do have some videos that I could do at home, which can be very effective if you do them properly and you push yourself when you're doing them and you do them regularly. I can take my daughter outside in the jogging stroller and I can walk or jog with her. The weather here has been terrible lately. We've had tons of rain and that hasn't really been an option. I also, with not feeling well, obviously when you don't feel well, you don't really want to work out. So the past 2 weeks, not one time did I work out. So I would like to introduce some type of workout into my schedule and see if that also helps me feel better and healthier. And of course it's going to help with the weight loss. But this is supposed to be a slow weight loss plan. It's not going to be a drop 10 pounds in a week plan. That's not what I need. It's not what I'm looking for. I just want to be healthier. So that is my update for the first 2 weeks of Trim Healthy Mama. Excuse me, I know I'm really gross, just sniffling all over the place here, but it's better than blowing my nose on camera. So that is my first 2 weeks in. I will do another update in another 2 weeks and tell you what kind of progress I've made, what are my challenges, what are my victories, what's working, what's not, and what is my plan moving forward at that point. In the meantime, if you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. I am not an expert on this, but if I can't find an answer for you, or if I don't know an answer for you, I will most certainly direct you to the place where you can possibly find an answer. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you're enjoying following along on my journey. I will be going to the grocery store probably today, tomorrow I need to go to the grocery store. We are completely out of milk, and with 4 children, that does not work. Tomorrow is my daughter's first birthday, and we have some things planned for tomorrow, not birthday related. I need to go to the grocery store. It's going to happen soon. I will do a grocery store haul video when that happens, and so I hope that you guys will stay tuned for that as well. I also have a vlog from 3 days ago that I'm trying to get uploaded. So some more new content coming up on the channel soon, and in the meantime, until I get those posted, I hope that you are all doing very well and that you're finding yourself very blessed. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!